Good morning, folks. This is, I guess this is day number 4, morning number 4, and just woke up not too long ago. I have a cup of coffee in me, and still trying to wake up, get the goo out of my eyes. This is a pretty decent campsite we found, at least the first half of it. I'll walk you around and show it to you here in a minute. This is the view I woke up to this morning. And last night it was very, very windy, and the waves were chopping and slapping the shore, and it was windy pretty much all night. It got fairly cool, and because I have my Hennessy, I don't have my underquilt perfected yet, so it got a little chilly, but it was pretty decent. I have my Swagman roll underneath me, and it did just fine. And, but probably not gonna. I don't know if we'll do any breakfast this morning or not. We had leftovers last night for supper. I mean, steak, fried chicken, breakfast burritos, things like that. And just, your common camping leftovers that you normally have. But yeah, Jay's quite a chef, and his canoe kitchen is pretty awesome. I'll go ahead and walk you through camp. Like I said, the first part of the camp, first half over here by the shore, is pretty good. When you get back behind where our shelters are, you find all kinds of ugh. But check this out. Those right there are floats for docks, and we find these things all over the place. This one right here usually have a plastic casing around it, and then the new modern ones are they have a hard plastic shell with some type of dense foam on the inside. This is just the compressed bead styrofoam. It's pretty decent size. It looks like it's about 4 foot by 4 foot section by about 2 feet tall, and they're everywhere, and they're very expensive. Jay was telling me some of the ones that we see are anywhere between $200 to $400 a piece, and most of the ones we see are in perfect condition. And like I said, we did not have a fire last night because of the wind. And like if we were to use this one, the sparks would have blown on our shelters. They would be behind it. And where Jay's standing right now, there's a small fire pit, and everything behind it is dry because of all the wind, and it would have caused a forest fire, which is not good. But yeah, I have a pretty decent beach here, and it was just the small little debris for the most part. We did pick up a good bit of trash here, and but when you get back over here where our shelters are, and we definitely pulled our boats up a lot closer to us. I didn't know what the waves are going to do, or people. There's Jay's camp, and Jay. There's my camp. But this is what is immediately behind the camp. Now, every single beach area that we have found will be like this. There will be what appears to be nice beach area. It'll come up to a rise, and it will dip back down in, and it's almost like marshy. But it's all of them that we found like this has just got all kinds of trash and garbage through there, and it's sort of discouraging. But we're out of trash bags now, so we have to end our trash collecting services for Lake Hartwell. And morning, Brother Jay.
Morning.
And that's your morning tour, and we have one more night, and then tomorrow I'm going to be hitting the road at about an 8.5 hour drive, and then I'll be home again. And it's just hard to believe that, you know, the time has just flown by. Just filled with, you know, all kinds of paddle time. I've spent more time on the water in the past few days than I probably have in the past several years. It seems like, and we covered quite a bit of distance. And the thing is with these islands, because they have so many inlets and stuff, if you're going around all of the coastline, which we did do, I mean, it's it's a significant amount of miles when you're going in. And we're probably going to spread out and do some open water to some other islands, and probably do that today. So we'll be covering a good bit more islands. We pretty much hit all the islands around the area that we've had, either exploring on them, camping on them. And the thing is, if anyone were to want to come to Lake Hartwell to do any type of kayak camping, you very easily could find just one island. And like this one here, it's fairly decent sized. You know, you can set up your camp, and if you have some way to secure your camp, or you have some, you know, you're going with a group and one person wants to stay with camp while everyone else wants to explore. I mean, look at this. There is like all kinds of woodland on these things. And, you know, I've done a little bit of foot exploring through every single place that we've been. And there's some very nice forest areas. And I guess if you were traveling very light, yet your kayaks or your boats were lightweight, you very easily could carry them, you know, a decent little distance up in the woods, and secure them to a tree with a cable lock or something like that, and then find whatever type of regular woodland camp you want. But the beaches are they've just been so nice. The one camp we were at, I went ahead and camped further in the woods, just because that was such a small beach. Wasn't really good trees to set up, and it was a great little spot. Wasn't too far off the beach, but it was good and comfortable. Now we'll probably go ahead and get us another bit of leftover breakfast, and we've already had our coffee. We'll go ahead and start packing up camp, and then make our decision what we're going to do. And I'll bring you back in some way, shape, or form throughout the day-to-day, and probably, yeah, not making any promises, because I'm really enjoying the trip. And if I get around to doing some filming tonight or next camp, I will. If not, it'll definitely be tomorrow morning. Bring you back later. Folks, I just broke camp and got everything packed up and all of my bags, and put it on the kayak. I'm gonna go ahead and give you a walkthrough around how I stored everything on my kayak, tell you a little bit about, you know, what I learned so far after this will be day 4, and we'll just go from there. Anyway, this is my kayak. That is a bona fide SS 107, and it is designed as a fishing kayak. It is ultra stable, and that's the reason I bought it to begin with, is because I don't want to lose none of my stuff, none of it. And we'll just go ahead and start here in the back and move our way forward. Now, right back here, I have my camera tripod, my camera case, my good camera in there, which I'm ashamed to admit I've not yet used, and all goes well, I'll be using it this evening and early tomorrow morning. Underneath that is a 40-liter dry bag, and that has all of my clothes, my personal hygiene kit, and everything associated to my camp stuff, my tarps, my hammock, all that good stuff. This is my trolley that I have in a stowed position, and when I need it, I just unclip it, pull it out, tip the kayak on its side, put it underneath of it, wheel it to wherever I want. This is my seat. It can go into 3-4 different positions. Here you can see that it can be readjusted, so I can put those back here, these up here, and it's in a high position. If for whatever reason I can drop the front or the back down to adjust the degree of angle that I'm sitting. If I want to lounge around, I can drop this one back and leave this one up, and I have a recliner. Or I can put both of them up, and now they are in the low position. I've got my personal flotation device, and on the back of my seat I have my Get To Quick bag, and that has my wet weather gear in it, quick change batteries for my camera stuff, and my coffee cup, my GSI Infinity cup. Right around here I've got my Nalgene bottle, which I will tell you right now, don't use stainless steel water bottles if you're going to be in the sun all day, because your water is going to be hot enough to make tea or coffee with. This right here is one of my filtration bladders, which is going to go back here for storage, and I'm going to clip that in before we actually get started. This right here is, it looks like these are my stirrups, or not stirrups, these are my reins for a horse, and those actually help me get in and out of the boat, plus I can use it to pull my boat up. Got my Franken arm here, looks like something from Terminator. That's where I put my GoPro. I can swivel it around nice and easy here, put it in any position I want. Haven't figured out how to do it yet, but if I wanted to, I could figure a way to dump it over the side, just bend it over the side and get underwater footage, and the image is supposed to flip, but I don't know how to do it yet. I got my paddle. In here is where I keep my Get To Quick stuff. Anything I feel I need to get to readily. This right here is a solar charger my brother Jay gave me. And open this up, and in here, the front hold, this is where I keep my food, my cookware, and water purification stuff. A little garbage bag there, another filtration bag, and which is going to be filled up before we leave, and my Esbit trekking alcohol and solid fuel stove cook set. We've got my that's a silky saw there, I think it's the Elite, and that's all that is in that forward storage area. All that stuff gets secured, buckled down. Right there I've got another quick point shoot camera that's dummy corded. It's a Sony Sure Shot. It's waterproof, and I'm still figuring that out. But that is my boat rig. And so far everything has worked absolutely fantastic. Oh wait, I forgot something right back here. Lift the chair up. That is my day pack. That has every single thing that I normally have on my bushcraft patrol rig in it, and it's in a dry bag, and that's a good quick access point to it. And of course in my pockets here I have everything I normally have in my pants pockets, except they're in Ziploc bags, and they're that way I can keep track of it. They don't get wet, I don't lose anything, and it'll be with me no matter what happens. And I believe that is that. And here in a little bit we'll see if Jay wants to show off his rig. This is the first time that he's ever used this kayak. It's like a hybrid canoe slash kayak, and he's taken all kinds of stuff to try out for the first time. His camp kitchen, everything else. I mean, it's been like having a gourmet chef wild camping with me. It's been absolutely wonderful, and so he's having a ball with that. That boat is absolutely doing phenomenally. He can actually probably track and go a little bit faster than I can in my boat, and I'm not carrying half, not even nearly close to half of the weight that he is. That is that, and I'll be bringing you back as I can. Just show you this is where I camped right here, and this beach was completely covered with all kinds of litter. Jay always brings trash bags with him, and we actually dropped by here earlier in the day yesterday, saw all the trash, cleaned it up, went around exploring some more, and finally did come back to this beach to camp in. So far, every place that we've camped, we've left it in much better shape than we found it in. And so this is Jay's home, and when he comes here and he sees how people have trashed it, I mean, he takes it very personally, and he is very fastidious, and he comes out fishing. He sees something floating in the water, he'll go back to his house with a whole bunch of fish and a whole bunch of trash, and he does that every single time he goes out. So God bless him. Jay's got tidying up his stuff, and then once we have everything loaded up, I'll show you just how pretty this camp is and the way it should always look every single time anyone ever camps here, ever.
Place, sir.
Oh, you want to go back to that first island or what?
Yeah, we can try it.
Okay.
We'll see how good our luck is.
Yeah. We either go around that way or back the way we came.
Which way's the wind going? That way?
Yeah, it's blowing this way. I think this way's shorter anyway.
Okay.
We'll just hug that shoreline like we always do until we get the middle between the two islands. Yeah. Now, this might be our last camp. Now, the reason I'm saying it might be our last camp is because there was a camp that we saw that we liked a lot better. And unfortunately, there's a boat there. Sometimes folks like to hang out there for the day and then they leave at night. So we might be holding off for a little while to see if they're going to stay for the night. And other than that, we'll be here. And the lake is absolutely infested with boats and jet skis and tubers, and not the kind you eat, not like potatoes and stuff like that. It's just a ridiculous amount of people that's on the water right now. One of the things that I think is really cool about the water here is that there's a tremendous amount of iron pyrite and mica that have been washed away from all of the embankments and stuff. And as the waves come up on the shore and they go out, it just looks like there's cascading glitter going out with the water. I want to see if you guys can see this. I just pulled my shoes out and was emptying the sand out of them, and the entire insole looks like someone has dumped glitter on the inside of my shoes. Well, as soon as we make our mind up, I'll bring you back. We'll be setting up camp, doing all that fun stuff for our last night here on the islands in Hartwell Lake. Well, Brother Jay's going to do a little fishing, and I'm going to take a little walk in the woods. But we're still sort of waiting to see if that one spot on the other island becomes vacant before we have decided to set up camp. And I'm completely fine with this site. This is pretty good, but the other one was definitely better. But you know, the old adage, you snooze, you lose. I'm just taking a little walk in the woods, and this this is ridiculous. Look at this. Oil cans. I mean, just all kinds of garbage. Now, let's see what kind of woods we got here. Definitely lots of spider webs. There's a big, looks like foam or concrete. Could be one of those floats. There's some pretty good camping woodland on these islands. And excuse the bumpiness of my arm. I just had this ginormous spider crawling on it. Just wanted to evict him from my bodily premises. My brother Jay was on this one little island checking some stuff out. I was in my boat, and while he was looking for a potential of a campsite, I happened to see a small possum. And I said, Jay, not possum, an armadillo. And I said, brother Jay, there's an armadillo. He's where? And I just pointed out to it, and he's walking around. And he just goes over and picks it up and brings it over. And he says, hey, brother John, come here, get a picture of this. And I'm like trying to fumble for my camera. And by that point, the GoPro battery was already dead that was on my boat. I was trying to get to my phone. That was nice. I had a bug in my eye. But while he was holding it, the thing took a whiz. It took a dump, and then it started scratching him, and it just violently convulsed, and Jay lost grip of it. And the thing tore him up, cut him up pretty good. And it was just a small one, but if there's that much fighting a small one, I can't imagine what a big one would be like. So, but that would have been just epic had I been able to get that on video. The woodland here definitely has a tremendous amount of undergrowth. So being able to camp here undetected would be pretty easily done. But a lot of this area here, this open area, I'm certain all this has been cleared out by campers. They've come here, you know, via their boats, clearing stuff, looking for firewood. There's a lot of holly here. It blew my mind, especially when they're close to the beaches, when you're walking up to the islands barefoot. Yeah, they really they hurt. This island, the terrain is not very extreme. There is one island that I found that it was too far away from us to get to within the time we had available. It was huge. It had to have been, let's say, I'll count it had to have been 80 feet from the surface of the lake, you know, which made a little mountain that was rising up out of the lake. It was very impressive, but unfortunately too far away. Ooh, lots of spider webs. I don't know if they'll see what's in this one or not. And I can definitely see the web. Oh, there he is, right in the center. Tremendous number of spiders out here. Well, I would say this would definitely be a Yeti or a Sasquatch den. Just enough room for a Squatch and Chupacabra. Like to contact the mountain monsters, have them get down here to South Carolina, check it out. Well, I am so far pretty surprised by not seeing more trash and refuse and garbage and rubbish strewn about up here. Well, some of these spots look like someone actually took some time and cleaned up pretty well. But looks like we've got something nasty up here. What's this? What is it? Looks like a garbage bag. For the garbage. Yeah, there's some very interesting locations here. The one thing I did notice, I didn't see any squirrels the whole time we've been out. And there have been hickory nuts everywhere. I even found a chestnut tree. And there's all kinds of pine tree here. Squirrel love pine nuts. Yeah, I haven't seen a single squirrel. Perhaps the armadillos go rogue and hunt down the squirrels in the middle of the night, consume them utterly. I don't know. Ooh, big spider there. Bye-bye, spider web. Okay, I'm just literally walking from one spider web right into the other. And it just did it again. I need a stick. I need a spider web stick so I can shake it about in front of me. Yeah. Yeah, these are, if you like spiders and spider webs, these are the woodland for you. Yeah. Yeah, this one's pretty good. Has some potential. And another holly tree. I mean, they're everywhere. Just like the garbage. Now, if we wind up camping here, this is the back side of the site. It's really weird how these sites go. You have this large berm of sand, and then you have this dip and this sort of not nice area. Sometimes they're sort of marshy. Let's see. Almost looks like it opens up back there. Let's go check it out. One thing that has really surprised me since I've been out here, with the exception of the spiders, there have been very, very few bugs. Insects have been virtually non-existent. At least the annoying, stinging, biting kind. Mosquitoes, things like that. Now, one of the islands we were on, I actually found an area that was nice and flat like this. It was physically built up on the sides with stones. Looked like some type of a formal road or path. More holly. There's just like unlimited options for ground camping or hammock camping on these islands. You know, even in the woodland. And so far, I'm very pleased to say that I have not seen any of the islands that have kudzu on them yet. And I hope it stays that way. I say as soon as kudzu would hit an island, it would be a very short period of time before that would be a kudzu island, and everything on it would eventually die except for the kudzu. But as far as the woodland goes around any of the beaches that we've pulled our boats into, this is certainly the nicest for camping, hiking, exploring. And once you get away from camp, it's pretty much the cleanest too. There's several of the little areas that we walked around. I went into the woods, and it seemed like no matter where I walked, there was a lot of garbage. Some of it had been there for a very long time. I have to be fair about that. Oh yeah, this is a great patch of woodland. Look at this pine woodland here. This is excellent. Go down through here. Right through here. Yeah. That would be awesome. Now, I'm going to go ahead and head on back to where we've landed our kayaks, because I did know once we passed through here that just on this other little beachy cove area there was a family, a fairly substantial number of people relaxing and enjoying themselves, and I don't want to interrupt that. No, looks like a tarp. Yeah, more garbage. Big bottle. Like, look at this berm. It definitely looks like it was a intentional trail or a path or roadway at one time. Look at this nice pile of sweet gum burrs, seed pods. So we're back to the beach, and I'd say probably within the next 45 minutes to an hour we'll make our mind up whether or not this will be home for the night. It's a pretty good spot. Whether we're on the beach or in the woods, it'll work pretty well. Well, folks, the last morning, we are all packed up and ready to go. Head on back to the boat ramp for our ride. And just want to let you know that, again, show you the camp. And this is where we were camping, and it was in very rough condition when we found it. Cleaned it up best we could, and it's infinitely better than what it was when we got here. Now, just want to sit with my brother Jay here and go over a couple things about the trip we had. We all in all, we had 4 full days and 4 nights. Had a different camp every single night, and that was nice practice, being able to set up camp and break it down. And our first night here was a little it was a little scary. We were getting the remnants of that tropical storm that came through, and we were just standing right on the beach, of the island, and just enjoying how pretty it was. And all of a sudden, we got hit with a wall of wind that just about knocked us over and just about blew away every single piece of our camp. And that went on, what do you say, about 45 minutes?
Oh yeah, it was a good.
And we got heavy rains and everything else. It finally calmed down a little bit, but it was still pretty breezy. And so that night, that was not a good night, because I was just laying there waiting for the next round to come through to see if we were going to have to be, dragging each other out from underneath fallen trees and stuff. But next morning was pretty. And yeah, this is just an absolutely beautiful area. I'm so thankful that I had the opportunity to, first of all, get to know Jay, and through Instagram for, well, almost 2 years now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been close to 2 years.
And then be able to have the opportunity to finally meet him and his beautiful, wonderful wife, Lisa, and then be able to come out here and to have the time that we had. And I was thinking it might be a good idea for me and Jay to talk about some of the things we learned on this trip, because this is the first time, I think, for either one of us.
Yeah, canoe camping. This is my first endeavor.
Yeah, the first time for both of us. And it was a very positive experience, but I know there was a few things that we learned along the way. And I'll just go ahead and start off with a couple of things. The load that I had and my kayak was lean, and it was fine for someone that's used to be minimal and by themselves. However, if something were to happen to where I would have lost any of my kit, I didn't have anything extra. And so that right there, I need to think through and have at least a couple do-all. I did have a large poncho, an OPSEC poncho, which is larger than most things, so it might have been able to do okay for a tarp if my tarp would have torn or something like that. But I really need to reconsider and think that stuff through. And my biggest thing, I think, fail were my shoes. Yeah. I brought one pair of shoes, and it was my Merrells, and they were supposed to be quick drying, ventilated, breathable shoes. They were not. And they got soaked the first day, and I left them on overnight during the storm, because I didn't know, I didn't be running through the area I was barefooted trying to collect up pieces of gear or try to set stuff up. So I left them on. So the next morning, we were getting all our stuff together, and we loaded up and headed to the next island. By the time I got to the next island, my feet were hurting because I was starting to get immersion foot. And it was sunny and fairly dry. There was no reason whatsoever for the shoes to have basically remained little aquariums of water that I was walking around in. So I'm definitely not ever going to use these shoes again. And yeah, a huge fail. And I should have brought my Crocs. Should have brought my Crocs to have a pair of camp shoes to wear around. Super lightweight, breathable. Don't have to worry about immersion foot or things like that. And that was a big failure for my kit, but I was able to walk around barefoot that second night, and by the next morning, being barefoot, my feet were in good shape again.
Yeah, well, it was good. We had good beaches that you get your feet dried out because
Hmm.
that could have got bad.
Yeah, we lucked out with that too, because all the trash that we found on every single place we stopped.
Yeah,
We're really fortunate there wasn't broken glass hidden underneath the sand, because we both walked around barefoot just about every single day.
yep, yep.
And, I think it might have been that, but both of us complained yesterday about having sore calves when we woke the next morning, and it's just like neither one of us has gone barefoot in sand this many days in a row, so we think we might have got our beach workout pretty good, at least for our calves.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
deeper than I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. So what do you think your biggest success and failure was?
Well, my biggest failure I think was I need to dial my gear back
Mm-hmm.
because I brought you know way too much stuff. But I mean the canoe handled it fine,
Mm-hmm.
and we had extras in if we needed it. But as far as moving and in and out of the water and packing up, I need to dial my gear back. My shoes did fine, uh, which I brought an extra pair, two extra
Mm-hmm.
pairs actually. But the one failure I had is I bought a GSI commuter. It's like a coffee mug French press combo together. And I'm not saying it's the GSI product. It could have been me. Not. I mean, I followed the directions, but maybe I did something wrong. But I wouldn't recommend it. A pour over filter would probably be better in a situation like this. But other than that, I mean, the hammock that you gifted me, that thing is, I got a bad back, but people that don't like hammocks, if they could find one of those, I mean, that would probably be a good solution to their problem.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I mean, it's been a great time. I've enjoyed getting to know you, and
Well, yeah.
the different campsite every night thing. I think was a good learning experience, and I think everybody ought to try it,
Mm-hmm.
if at least once.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am thoroughly happy with the boat and the rest of my gear done fine.
I tell you, biggest reason why he had so much stuff is because he cooked me gourmet meals just about every single day, and he brought a big cooler full of very high quality, fine produce and meat and everything else. And I ate like a king. And he had a Coleman stove to cook things up just in case we couldn't get a good fire going with the dry firewood. He was prepared for any weather condition to cook those meals. And Miss Lisa, she made me a pecan pie, and we could only bring half of it, and I feasted on that thing. It was almost like you go to a resort area, you go out boating, and you come into the dock, and you go to the nice restaurant. That's sort of what it was like for me, except it didn't cost me a dime.
Well, it was great. It was great
Yeah,
eating.
fried chicken, tomahawk steaks, breakfast wraps. I mean, you name it. It was absolutely fantastic. And last night we finished it up with roasted hot dogs on a fire,
Yeah.
and that was great. And we threw in something special too, because we had some leftover wraps. He had brought some sauerkraut, some chili. So I had a hot dog or chili dog wrap and a sauerkraut dog wrap, and that was, I've never had anything like that before, and that was really really a great idea. A lot easier to eat than having this type of a camp and trying to pack in buns and things like that.
Oh yeah, they'd be so squished you couldn't. Yeah.
Yeah, but yes, my trip down was uneventful. It was safe. Getting to meet Jay and Lisa and Dozer, and that was awesome. Just making my way over here, getting on the water, the trip, everything has just absolutely been fantastic.
I
And
have truly enjoyed it too.
yeah,
Truly have.
so now we're just a matter of planning the next one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, and today when you're filming this is the 11th. Tomorrow is my wife's birthday. So I wanted to tell her happy birthday
Hmm.
and I love you. So,
Great.
happy birthday, babe.
Yeah, happy birthday, Lisa. So, Well, I think we're just going to go ahead and get ready to paddle on over to the boat ramp. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Deeply appreciate it. And I'll see you next time.
Just do breakfast, man.
Yep. Yeah, just keep your eye out because they supposed to yield up, but you know how that goes.
Oh, yeah.
Just stay over there where these spots are.
I'm gonna go ahead and set my stuff up there and get out of the way. They'll be coming down here to drug me.
Hey, Brandy, how are you? I'm doing great. Nice to meet you.
The other one is my daughter Jane.
Yeah.
Who does not like backing trailers. No, I told her a long time ago, you don't feel comfortable. If you want them.
There were so many bees. I'm sorry. I couldn't see anything.
Where?
They were
Jane,
swarming the
this is
side of the truck.
John.
Hey, John, it's nice to meet you. I've heard so
Nice
much
to meet you.
about you.
So what's going on first?
I'm sorry, I'm not normally like that.
Got him right to the bank and he snapped my line.
That sucks.